On that note too, as far as localized marketplaces, and not all markets are kind of created equal. So
Yes.
what are some metrics and kind of KPIs? And we can just maybe a little bit more generally speaking, or from your time at Lyft, if that's better. But that you use to kind of measure, some of I guess the markets, how healthy those markets are.
I'll give you an example. I'll come back to an example of price. I'll use an anecdote from Lyft. There were really two KPIs that we were, indexed on, and it's the reason I'm starting there. It's almost the same thing at Shipt as well. So I'll first give you a Lyft example, which is more relatable, and then we can come back to Shipt. So there were two KPIs that we were always monitoring, and both the KPIs were really what we called as what we termed as our service quality KPIs or service level KPIs. Right. So the first one was your expected time of pickup. So you, as a rider, if you place a request in the Lyft, with Lyft to go from point A to point B, how soon would you actually have somebody come and pick you up? So that was first, and the second was obviously price. Right. Like in the area of price, it's like how price sensitive are you? Given a point in time, given the urgency, are you willing to wait? So if we pitch a certain price to you, will you be willing to wait, or will you just drop out? And the goal is obviously to maximize revenue by maximizing the rides, maximizing the volume. But so depending on, some people are willing to spend more, some people are not willing to spend more, and machine learning algorithms will actually learn that over time as they learn your behavior, etc., etc. The first one is very interesting, and I'll just quickly summarize the anecdote very quickly. So the first one was interesting. What Lyft saw was that between up to about 8 minutes, between 3 minutes to about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes before getting into double digits, you could have a ride come between 3 minutes to 10 minutes, and people would not drop. People are willing to wait. Right. So 3 minutes to 10 minutes is almost tripling the wait time. If you think about it, going from 3 to 10 is almost more than tripling the wait time, but people are willing to wait for that much time. After 10, then it becomes a problem, because now they want something more urgently. 10 minutes is a lot of lead time for a on-demand marketplace like Lyft, right? But they are willing to wait between 3 and 10. You would see. So coming back to what you said, right? Hyper-local marketplaces. Sometimes you just don't have, especially when you're starting in a new market, you just don't have enough density. You don't have enough drivers right now. So you may not be able to find a driver within 10 minutes, for example. It's possible, right? So, and you use batching and things like that to alleviate the problem, but it's possible. People are okay with that. On the price side, if you go from $10, let's say as an example, to $10.15, which is, if you think about it, it's a 1.5% increase. The demand would drop off a cliff. So we would kind of joke, like, people don't know how to value their time, because or how to price their time, because you're more than willing to wait three times as much to find a ride. But if the price goes up by a few cents, 10, 15 cents, your demand is dropping. So that's just how humans are programmed. They are very, very sensitive to price compared to their own time. This is something we saw there. So ETA of pickup was one metric, price was the other. Of course, number of rides was obviously the company's North Star that you would report to the Wall Street. It's the same thing on the Shipt side. There is something called on-time delivery, which is on the customer side. When you ordered something, how many of those are coming at the time when you wanted them to be, which is, again, sort of like an ETA problem. And then obviously cost is the other thing on that side.